Welcome back, guys. Today is going to be mostly for wedding photographers, whether you're just getting into the business or you've been in it for 20 years. I just want to share some information with you. The number one priority before you do a wedding is you get a signed contract. Never ever do a wedding without a signed contract. Also, when we give our clients their signed contract, we give them their shot list, we give them the start times, the end times, and all that is in their contract. Because what will happen, say you're supposed to start shooting the bride at 1. You get there at 1 and the bride's not even there. I've been to weddings where the bride was 3 hours late before. So that's not your fault. You don't have to stay 3 extra hours because she was late. It's in the contract. If they're not ready on time, those are pictures that they missed. So you lay out your start time and your end time, and you go over the bride and groom with all the photos that they want, so you make sure you don't miss those. Everything is in writing. They know what they're getting. There's no surprises at the end. And then also, when you're dealing with wedding directors, most wedding directors are fine. They're wonderful people, but some of them are a little bit controlling. Never let the wedding director get in your way of getting the picture that you've agreed to get with your bride. Be nice, be respectful, and 90% of wedding directors are fine. But there are a few that like to be on their little control trip. So you've got a contract signed with that bride and groom. You're there to work for the bride and groom. I usually, when I get to the wedding, we do the pictures of the groomsmen first, then the bride, hide them if they're not seeing each other before the wedding, and then give them 30 minutes to rest before the ceremony. Well, right before the ceremony and during the ceremony, the wedding coordinator will have everybody lined up and coming in at the time because they've been through all this practice, and so that's her job. So as soon as the ceremony is over and we're bringing in the full wedding party and the families that are there to get their pictures made, the wedding director really has no more involvement in that. Some want to stay around and help, and that's fine. But as far as like they go, let's say you talked to your bride and groom and said, it's going to take 30 to 45 minutes to get the pictures after the ceremony before we get you to the reception. Well, if your wedding coordinator is coming in there in 20 minutes and saying, everybody's waiting on them in the reception, everybody's waiting, it doesn't matter. You've already settled with the bride and groom that it's going to take 45 minutes to get them to the reception. So be nice and be polite to the wedding director, but you haven't signed the contract with her. You signed the contract with that bride. You're there to do what she wants and get what she wants. I've been shooting for almost 40 years, and we probably had 3 or 4 major run-ins with wedding coordinators. One is interesting. One, I met her about 25 years ago. She did not like me that first day. She did not like me at all. But we kept seeing each other through the years, and we got to be good friends. And I remember one time I walked in the door and said, oh, thank God you're the photographer for today. And I thought in my head, I'm like, boy, a few years ago, you would have thrown a knife at me if you just saw me coming in the door. But anyway, you can win people over. Most photographers have good personalities, and you need to be able to use your personality to be able to get your way without seeming rude and obnoxious, if you know what I mean. So I guess they say you get more flies with honey than, there's some saying, I don't know what it is, but you get the point. So once you get everything lined up with your bride and groom, if they're not seeing each other before the wedding, it will take longer between the ceremony and the reception before you can get them all to the reception. Now, if they see each other before the wedding, there's a lot less to take after the ceremony. So you can adjust that in your timeline. Just have your timeline laid out so that the bride knows exactly what's happening and when it's happening. And I've always got an assistant or two with me that goes and gets people if we're looking for certain people to be in a shot. She will round them up while I'm taking other pictures to get them in there, because you want to move smoothly. You don't want to keep your bride and groom longer than you told them that you would need to keep them. And also when you get to the reception, if they're going in and they immediately dance, you want to get those pictures. And then as it starts getting close, say it's 30 minutes from the time you're supposed to leave. If they have not cut the cake and they have not done a few of the garter bouquet and that sort of stuff, you need to go talk to them, or your assistant needs to go talk to them and say, hey, you have 30 minutes left with us. If you want to add more time with us, that's fine. But if not, we need to get the garter bouquet thrown. We need to get the cake cut and that sort of thing. So you kind of have to stay in control of the wedding. If you just sit back and shoot pictures, you're going to be there all day long, and it's going to be total chaos. So you really want to, I hate to use this word, you almost have to rule the wedding. I don't mean that quite like it sounds, but somebody's got to be in charge. The bride and groom are there. They're having a great time. It's their big day. You don't want to have to involve them in any of the behind-the-scene problems. That's between you and whoever the wedding director is or whoever you're dealing with. Never involve your bride and groom about somebody said this or somebody does this. The bride and groom, this is their day. Don't give them any bad information. They don't want to hear it, and you definitely don't need to tell them. So when the people over, you go in sometimes, there's personality conflicts. There's no doubt about that. I've had that before. But you can win people over by just being nice and striking up a conversation with them. And a lot of people, it could be the parents of one of the bride or groom, and they can have a tendency to be stressed out. So, once you get there, they might have a little bit of complaint, but, just talk to them and calm them down and just talk to them a few minutes and get a few pictures. And once they see that you know what you're doing, they'll have total confidence in you, and you'll be able to just make the wedding flow just like that. And if they're going away in a car, we get everybody lined up because a lot of times they leave through sparklers or whatever. My wife or the director, not the wedding director, but whoever's with me that day, the wedding director could help. I've had them help before, but you line up the 2 rows of people about 10 minutes before it's time to leave. You get the sparklers lit, and I always go up to the bride and groom before they leave the wedding, and I say, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go outside, get on the other side of these sparklers right in front of the car. I want you guys to count to 10 once I get outside. You guys come running through the sparklers. Don't wait on me to take the picture. Just keep running. When you get to the car door, open it up for the bride, give her a kiss, help her in the car. That way I get them moving real action in real time, running through the sparklers. I'm able to turn and get the picture of them kissing each other and him putting her in the car. And then I can get in position to get the car as they drive off. So that's just something I want to share with you guys. And also being a member of the Professional Photographers of America and being insured for your weddings. I'll never, ever photograph a wedding if you're not insured. You definitely need that insurance because you can do an amazing wedding and somebody can say they don't like it and they can sue you. So the PPA, the Professional Photographers of America, has wedding indemnity, I believe that's how you pronounce the word, I'm not sure, insurance for you. So you will be covered. Just make sure you go over and you keep your end of the bargain on the contract. Make sure they know what they're getting. You know what you're giving them. There's no questions. And try to make friends with the wedding coordinators as best you can. If they get in your way, depending on what part of the wedding you're at, if it's like I said earlier, if they're about to start the ceremony and during the ceremony, that's what I consider the wedding director's time to be in charge. I just stay back and shoot pictures of what's happening. But when it's picture time, the photographer and you need to be in control of what's going on. So anyway, with that said, I hope we help you guys. And if you guys have any questions, just shoot me an email down at the bottom. I'll be glad to help you out. If what we're saying has helped you out any, please hit that subscribe button. Y'all have a good day. Thanks.